Good afternoon and good morning to wherever you are from. I am Samantha Tegg, otherwise known as Miss T. That's M-I-S-S-T. Okay, cool. So today's topic, we are going to be talking about fear. How it plays its part in your day-to-day life and how it plays its part in your comfort zones and getting out of them. Before we get too deep into that topic, I do want to make an announcement from last week though. So, last week I decided, okay cool, I'm going to get your guys' help and I'm going to get you guys to vote on whether this page and this channel and this little program thing is going to be called Miss T Journeys or Miss T Paths. Okay, I know I don't have video editing skills, so just picture the words journey and paths. Whoop whoop. Okay, so the votes are in and they've been tallied and it seems like we are going to be going with Miss T, drumroll please, paths. Haha, yay! Okay, cool. So, I'm going to thank you guys so much for having put in the effort and the time to vote. And I'm thanking you for watching my first introduction video. I know that it didn't really give much back to you, but it was just explaining what I'm about. Okay, so, on to today's topic. How to identify fear when it doesn't feel like fear, how it plays that part in your day-to-day life, and what it means when trying to get out of your comfort zones. So, we've all been taught that fear is the fight or flight syndrome. The fight or flight syndrome. Or symptoms. So you either freeze and you go, oh shit, you freeze, or you fight, or you run away. So there's those sort of there's three things that you can that happen with fear. But now, what happens with fear? The physical symptoms. Sorry, we know the physical symptoms of fear as the sweaty palms. The knot in the stomach, the adrenaline rush, the heartbeats, the shakes, maybe even pooping yourself. I don't know, just depends how scared you really are. But now, what happens with that fear? How do you tell what fear is when it's not quite enough to make your adrenaline rush? How do you identify that? So, basically for me, when I started identifying how I started identifying these sort of feelings as fear and stuff like that was when I first started social media marketing. I had to learn how to do Google Analytics. Now you have to do a course through the Google Analytics thing for that and everything while you set it up, and you learn everything on the go. But now I was more than happy to sit there, and with that time slot that I had put down for learning my Google Analytics on that day, when that time slot came around, I would erase it. And I put it to the next day. And when that time slot came around the next day, I would do the exact same thing. After about 2 weeks of this, I sat down and I was just like, geez, Sam, really? I mean, like, you have to do this. You need Google Analytics. You need Google Analytics. You need Google Analytics whether you want to do this course or not. So what is stopping you? Why are you hesitating? I sat down and was like, why am I hesitating? What is causing me to hesitate? So I sat down and I realized it's a form of fear. It was fear that was stopping me from being able to get out of my comfy little zone, the place where we all go to die. Yeah, I couldn't get out of my comfort zone because of fear. For a small little task which wasn't even life-threatening enough to bring out the sweaty palms or the knot in the stomach, not even a flicker from my adrenaline glands or anything, my heart wasn't even racing. So how did I identify that as fear? I sat down and I made my lists. And I said, okay, so I'm hesitant to do this, but why? What am I afraid of? And as soon as I asked, what am I afraid of? I realized that fear actually is with us. So when people talk about fear of leaving your comfort zones, I always assumed it was the fear of, the debilitating fight or flight syndromes that you'd get when your life is actually in danger. I never really thought of it as, okay, cool, it's just a slight little fear that will make you hesitant. That's all. Just hesitant. And that's how I identified it, was every time I hesitated, I would sit down and go, what about this am I scared of? What am I scared of? Why am I running away? Why am I hiding from it? You see, I was I was hiding from from Google Analytics course. I mean, from the beginner's course, the first time. And why was I doing that? I don't know. Well, actually, I do know. But I had to sit down and I had to make my lists. I had to sit down and I had to question myself exactly with what am I afraid of? I went through everything. Am I afraid that I'll fail at it? That was my main course. Sorry. I realized I was afraid to fail with it because it was something that I've never really done. It's the most programmy, techie sort of thing where you write with codes and things like that. And I didn't understand it, so I was scared of it. And I hesitated because of my lack of understanding about what it was, because it's not actually really very codey or anything like that at all. And for a non-techie person, I just threw my hands up and I wouldn't take the extra step just to understand a little bit. So, your day-to-day fears and how it can stop you from getting out of your comfort zones to grow, especially with the things that you pretty much have to have, and things like that, is look out for what you're hesitating with. Once you're hesitating, sit down and go, what is terrifying me about this task? Is it the end result? Is it the journey there? Is it something in the process? Is it one of the steps that I have to take? What is making me scared? And why? Only once you understand that, and once you, because you have to do that for the first 2 or 3 times that you feel this and that you bring this to your attention, because you have to be aware about it. So, first time I noticed it was with Google Analytics. The second time I noticed it was with my first video. No, I lie. Actually, I made an Instagram page before this. So, second time I saw that was with my dancing Instagram page. I was hesitating. I hesitated for like 2 months before I actually started the page. And you know what? I love it. I absolutely love doing everything. I was terrified of putting myself out there, but not enough to make my adrenalines go, not enough to make me all sweaty and shaky and scared, not enough for me to be able to even identify it as fear. After that, the third time I felt that extreme hesitation was creating my first YouTube video, which is the introduction that I was talking about. That's helped me through a lot of things, because that was my biggest breakthrough, I think, was the last one. I had to now sit down, now today, with my hesitation for making this video. I sat down and I know the process now. I know exactly, okay, so is it a part of the process that I'm scared of? Is it standing in front of the camera? Is it that I'm scared to be myself? Or is it that I'm scared that people are going to put negative comments on my page once I've posted this? I need to sit down and I need to sift through those. So I asked myself 5 questions. Is it a process? Is it the process? If so, what step of the process is it? Is it the end result? If so, what about the end result is it? And is it just me letting my ego getting in the road? Or is it actually a genuine concern, which is something that I should be terrified from or of? So, that's just something small that I wanted to share for my first one. And I believe with everything that you hesitate with, if you've stoked to do something and you really, really, really want to get out there and do it, and you want to make that change, you want to make that effort, and then a time comes and you hesitate, ask yourself those 5 questions. I think it will really, really help. Anyway, it helped me to get out of my shell, because every time I went through those 5 questions, I realized I was just being silly. I was allowing fear to take over my day and take over my life and take control and keep me in my comfort zone. And I don't want to die in my comfort zone. I want to die skydiving out of a plane, landing on a skateboard, and then skateboarding into the ocean or something like that, and then being eaten by a shark, you know? I don't want to die in my comfort zone. So, where do you want to die? Do you want to die in your comfort zone? Or do you want to actually get out there and grow and die doing something fucking crazy? Excuse my language. Anyway, I hope you guys have an awesome time, and I told you I'd get a stand for this one. Whoop, whoop. So anyway, I will see you guys next week with Misty Paths. Ha! Halos, angels, you know, oh, golden light streaming through everything. Okay, so it's over and out, guys. Enjoy.